We are on. We're going to go live. Let me see. Hello.
Hey, Auntie
Hi,
Mimi.
welcome. Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh my
I'm
God, I'm
good.
so excited. I've
How
been
are you?
looking forward to seeing you here. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for watching us. Kindly please go to StreamYard and give permission so that we can see who is commenting, and come to the comment section if you can hear us. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Um, DJ Muzungu, can you just say hello to everyone that's watching us and just greet them for us?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm really excited about this interview with you, Auntie Mimi. And I don't know why you chose to interview me, though, because I always see myself as very kind of boring kind of person. I haven't got many stories to tell, but hopefully you'll all enjoy it.
Lovely. I'm so excited to have you, DJ Muzungu, because I met you on my book launch, and you were the DJ at my book launch, and something amazing happened when I met you. Like, I don't know. I just connected with you. It was so natural to connect with you. And the music you were playing, oh my God. So maybe if you just say hello to, again, introduce yourself to everyone, tell them what you do, who's DJ Muzungu, and so forth.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm DJ Muzungu, as Auntie Mimi said. I DJ music from across Africa. So I grew a love for African music when I lived in South Africa back in 2001, 2003, between them years. And it got into my bones and it hasn't got out ever since. And so I collect music from all over Africa. I've done Zimbabwean weddings, Zimbabwean parties, South African parties, Congolese weddings, Nigerian weddings. I've done straight across the continent, Kenyan weddings. I love African music. I try and keep on top of all of the latest trends, and so that's who I am, and I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you. So you lived in Africa, in South Africa, for how long?
I lived in South Africa for 2 years, and then I've done a couple of visits back to both South Africa and Zambia as well. I've never actually stepped foot in Zimbabwe, and I wish I had. But, yeah.
So you loved the South African music. So how were you introduced to the Zimbabwean music? How do you understand the music? On my party, I think there was a time there was a gap, and you just started playing music, and you just played the right song, and even the words, it was a Shona song, and the words were just appropriate at that time. How do you collect this music? How do you understand? Do you understand African languages? What happens?
Um, I think with Zimbabwean music, there are so many Zimbabweans in Britain, as you know, and so when I came back from South Africa, when I lived in Wrexham, there was a small African community, and I started playing music for them at their functions. And it was mostly South African music, but then people would obviously start requesting Zimbabwean music or other music. So I started collecting and just researching. A lot of it is just research, but also I think the same thing that every DJ does and should do is when they're at a party, they look at what makes people move. So, whenever I saw, okay, this track's working, I know that I can play that again. And so you start building your playlist. You start looking at what works, what doesn't. With I think it takes a few years to the point where you know what tracks are going to get people going at what time. So it's just watching people, and it's what I love doing as well. Because if you're at a party and you're a DJ, you want to see everyone having a good time. So it's almost like you're studying people. You're studying what gets people happy. And so that's kind of how I do it.
So which Zimbabwean artist that you know that you say these ones actually they get the party going?
Well, I know Ja Praiser for a long time has got people going. I know he's come under a little bit of controversy recently because of some political politics, and obviously politics always comes into things. But I know from the past, Ja Praiser always got people moving. Killer T always gets people moving. A favorite of mine is Winky D, because I saw him live and I just love the way that he bonds with the crowd. I think as a live artist, he's better than most, because he just seems to connect with the crowd. So I think Winky D is a favorite of mine. And then obviously you've got you've got so many artists. You've got the old time ones like Thomas Mafumo and Oliver Mtukudzi. Obviously, you know that it's going to get to a certain part in the party. You've played all your recent tracks. You put on something old that just gets everyone moving. You know it's going to work. So yeah, there's just so many artists that are of good quality. Yeah.
I give up. Honestly, I give up. You seem to know this music more than I do. Maybe the question that I can ask you is, do you ever understand these songs that you play? Do you ever know the meaning? Do you Google it? What happens?
I can't actually speak, Shauna, though a few people, because they hear me singing the songs, think that I can. But I just play the song so much that I just know the words, even though I don't know what I'm singing. So sometimes I've got to be a little bit careful that I'm not singing something that might be inappropriate. Someone told me the meaning of a Jazz Signal song once, and I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't be singing that one. But I get people tell me the meaning of them. Friends always tell me the meaning. But no, I don't understand a lot of the song, the actual words, but. I've got a general gist of what the songs mean. Yeah, people educate me, which is good.
Wow, this is really amazing. Honestly, this is really amazing. What would you say? Because, like, for instance, do you play other English parties, or you are just strictly African parties?
I've done English parties, and I can do English parties. I've got I've loved music for a long time. Even before I lived in South Africa, I was doing a little bit of mobile disco to save money to get there. So I've got the back catalogue. I've got all of the songs. I just don't enjoy it as much. So these days I'm very careful with the gigs that I take, because obviously you want to do things that you enjoy. So when I started getting multiple requests for bookings on weekends, I thought, okay, I need to just start accepting the gigs where I'm going to play music that I enjoy. So I can do them. I've done quite a few mixed weddings where the husband or wife is from Zimbabwe or from, Nigeria or so on. And, the other half is British. And they are the hardest parties to DJ, because you're trying to keep everybody happy. You play too much African music, you'll get one side of the family coming over asking for something they know, or, but yeah. So yeah, I can play British music. I love a lot of house music, funky house music from the UK. I've got my musical tastes that are British, as well as loving Zimbabwean and African music.
Lovely. So I wanted to ask, what would your take be? Because, like, for instance, you raised the issue with Ja Praiser that because of political conflict, then that kind of affected also even how his music is being received. Is this something you see across both Africa? Is it, or globally, or is this something that is just specific to one continent, one zone, one country? Or what's your take on that?
That to me, that's a little bit of a mixed bag, because obviously, I think you've got some countries where there's the politics kind of crosses over into music quite a bit. If I'm playing a Nigerian party, you're always, you've got to make sure, you've got music for the right tribe. So I think that's where the research comes in. But yeah, you do get some politics that comes into it. I think just with Zimbabwe, I think that over the past years, politics have been such a main topic among most Zimbabweans that are in Britain, especially. I don't think there's a year gone by where you haven't seen some kind of protest or some kind of demonstration outside the Zimbabwean, the Zimbabwean embassy. And you don't get that to the same level with other countries. So there's the potential for that, but I think it's especially in Zimbabwe and at Zimbabwean parties especially. I do a lot of Shona parties where the couple or the birthday person is Shona, and you play mostly Shona music. I do a lot of Indebele parties where obviously you'd play Indebele music and some more South African music. Because of the language connection. And then you get some parties where you've got to mix it up and you've got to try and keep everybody happy. But I think the key thing is just being aware of the crowd. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one because a lot of the time you don't know the crowd before you get there. But, I think most people have a political opinion. So you put one track on. If I put a Jah Praiser track on and nobody's dancing, I think, I can't do that. I think it's like everything. I mean, I've got my musical tastes, and I think if you're doing a party and you're doing a wedding or a birthday, you have to be sensitive to the musical tastes of that person, because it doesn't matter what your political view is. That person's booked you. They want a party where people are dancing. So there's always going to be one person that's not happy at a party. You can't make everybody happy. So I think political sensitivity is an important thing, especially when it comes into music, yeah.
Wow, I did not realize, actually, as you are saying, I can see now that there is so many factors that will be at play, because for us, you just hear the music and you get up and dance. When it's not so nice a song, it's just like, oh, that one, it will pass. But I didn't realize the pressure that it has on someone who is DJing. In terms of African, like just globally, who would be your favorite musician?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult question to answer because I love. I think it changes. It changes all the time. I've always been a long-standing fan of Mafiki Zolo.
Right.
From the time, one of the first African albums that I got, I left South Africa with 5 albums of music that I just heard when I was going around, and one of them was Mafiki Zolo, Brothers of Peace, Brenda Fassie's Greatest Hits, and it was Ishmael's album, with Robaliteka, Abuleki Lemasango. So the tracks of that kind of era, the early noughties, late 90s, them tracks, I think because I heard them when I was in South Africa, I've got more of a connection to them particular songs. And, I think it's great, even to this day. Mafiki Zolo, not too long ago, have put out some fantastic hits, so it's still...
I love Mafiki Zolo too. I think they are really good, yeah. I think that is great. You have great taste in music. Now, people might be wanting to know, how can they book you if they want you to come to their event? What is the booking system? Is there a time frame? What happens?
Yeah. I've got a website, www.djmuzungu.co.uk. On Facebook as well. I've got a Facebook page. So yeah, you can reach out to me there, and then just give me the details of any party, and I'll provide a quote. Depending on which part of the country you're in, yeah. So just reach out.
So which areas of the country do you cover? Where do you go? Where do you not go?
I cover the whole country. Obviously you'd have to pay my travel costs if I'm traveling across the UK. I'm based in Sheffield, but I travel all over the country. I've even traveled to the Netherlands to do a wedding in the Netherlands previously.
Wow.
So if you pay me enough, I'll travel outside the country. So yeah. I just enjoy it. I enjoy meeting people, go in different places. So yeah, don't be afraid by distance.
Yes. So yes, his name. So people are asking, is this your name? So his DJing name is DJ Muzungu. So DJ Muzungu, you might want to introduce yourself again because they're asking, is this your name, Muzungu? Do you know what Muzungu
No.
means?
I chose DJ Muzungu as a DJ name because number one, people are going to remember it. Number two, it's something that will make people laugh. I like making people laugh. I like making people happy. So Muzungu, Marungu, Malungu, same thing. But no, my real name is Pete Reynolds. So that's how I kind of got my name. I thought, you need Pete Reynolds isn't a very memorable name if you're doing African music.
Yes. So yes, so you've had him. His professional name is DJ Muzungu. When you Google him, you're Googling DJ Muzungu. You're Googling DJ Muzungu, and you'll be able to access his Facebook page, and you can reach out to him. Maybe we might want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. How has it affected you, and how are you getting on? People might be wondering.
Well, it's obviously being in the the kind of the entertainment industry. It's affected me massively. I'm not going about doing gigs anymore because we can't. Most weddings, I think weddings, is it 15 people you're allowed at a wedding?
Mm-hmm.
So people are either doing very low key weddings with no reception, or they're postponing till next year. So it's impacted me massively. But I think, like everybody, you just move on. It's not my full-time job. It's something on the side, and it's a hobby. But having that time on the weekends has helped me to refocus on my children. And so it's almost like you're upset that you're not playing music and DJing, but at the same time, I'm able to spend more time with my kids like I used to, and take them out on days out on a Saturday, which I'd be, very limited what I could do. So yeah, I can't claim that I'm the worst impacted by COVID-19. There's people that have lost their main source of income, which is dreadful. And I still, I do a little bit of DJing in the house because I've got the setup. I did a party for the children a couple of weekends ago so they could enjoy themselves. So it's impacted me, but you just got to keep positive. I try and stay positive. It's dark days. It's dark days. It's difficult times. People are suffering loss of loved ones, loss of work, loss of income. So I try and count the things that are positive, and keep things going positive as I can.
Lovely. I think you have said the key thing, that it has given us an opportunity to get back to the basics. For me, when they first locked down, the children are not going to school, I got to connect with my kids. I got to impart skills in them because I'm always so busy, and because they are at home, I started giving them skills. So although we are in dark days, there's some positivity that came out of it.
I think that's really important. I think with any situation, you're going to have positives that come out of the situation and negatives, and sometimes I'm realistic. I realize that for a lot of people, they're suffering, and sometimes I feel low because I'm not getting out of the house as much as I used to. I'm not meeting up with people, so you can tend to feel low. But I think you've got to kind of swing that around somehow for your own sanity. I'm not exercising like I used to. At the beginning, at the first lockdown, I was running everywhere. I was doing I started doing half marathons and all this. And then I don't know. Things are not people are not perfect. I'm not perfect. I started to become a bit lazy, so I'm trying to shift my focus more onto exercise, and I'm determined this week I'm going to make an improvement and start back on that. Start living more healthy. But I think we're all in the same boat. You know, I think everybody has suffered in one way because of COVID-19, and I think it's important that we pick out where, you know, we can make something more positive from it.
Yeah, and this is really good. Plot Marco here is saying awesome. I think there was an article this morning about Plot Marco, and you know Plot, isn't it? DJ Muzungu from Ear Ground, and it was talking about how he's juggling his work and being a dad, and the message you are saying. I think this is really good that the fathers are stepping out, because sometimes fathers do not step out. I don't know, like especially from where I come from. So it is good to have this message where the fathers are saying they are prioritizing their children. In terms of a young person who is saying, DJ Muzungu, who say, I want to be a DJ. As from Africa, if a child says they want to be a DJ, we're like, what are you talking about? What advice would you give to that child, and what advice would you give to the parent of that child that says, hey, I want to be a DJ? What are the things that they would need to look into?
Okay, first of all, my first bit of advice is I've never been delusional with DJing. When I started doing it professionally, you know, I had like 2 gigs in the first year. You know, it was the gigs were very slim. And if I reflect back honestly, I wasn't that good. So, you know, it was mostly friends that were booking me. So I think the key thing is it's not a good primary source of income. So you've got, you know, you can't drop education. You've got to go for education. If you're young, don't put all your eggs into one basket thinking, you know, you're going to be this fantastic superstar DJ, because even the best of DJs, it's usually a side income. You know, it's only a very small percentage that become these superstar DJs, you know, like that you see on the television making big bucks. So, you know, I think you've got to be realistic. You know, you've got to, obviously you invest in some equipment. Keep the equipment costs low to start with, because you're just starting out. I think it's the same way that you start every business. You keep your costs low, and then you slowly build on the equipment you've got. So as soon as you start getting gigs, you start getting confident enough, then you know you can then invest in some better equipment. The first DJ controller I have, which is the main bit of gear that you have when you're DJing nowadays in the digital age, it cost me £200, and I only got rid of it a year and a half ago, because it worked. It carried on working. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So I invested in the other areas like speakers, and then the thing started breaking. So I then upgraded and got something a lot better. So, you know, you can keep your costs down to start with. You can get, you don't have to get the name brand speakers, you know, that sound the best sound in the world. You know, start low and build up. That's the advice I'd have. And then don't give up on your education. You can't just, I think anyone that DJs, they have a love for music before they get into it. So they've already got the music collection anyway. You know, diversifying your music collection is always good, because you're going to get more gigs, you're going to get more bookings, but at the same time, be realistic. I before lockdown, I was getting gigs every single weekend, but still, it's not enough money to sustain me and my family. Wow. So you've got to be realistic. Yeah.
Wow, that is really wise word. Thank you so much, because we are understanding that don't give up your day job. Do it as a side income, then just build on it. I think that is just so much wisdom. If anyone has got questions, please feel free to ask the questions. We are just having this conversation, and I am finding it very helpful. Um, I think sometimes when you see a DJ, you are just seeing. Um, ah, so, what is your full-time job, and how do you keep the balance?
I can't tell you the company that I work for because I'm not meant to, but I work for a bank
All
in
right.
um, in the remit of data governance. I won't bore you with the details of what that is. And I think one of the reasons that I went into DJing is because my job was so boring that I needed something to do on the side to keep me. But the keeping the balance, I think it's like any hobby. You need time out of your job, out of your your responsibilities as a parent or whatever it is. You need time to pursue some kind of hobby. It keeps you sane. And I've had many hobbies over the years. I've been into mountain climbing. I've been into running, and I keep on swapping hobbies. I kind of get obsessed with one thing and move on to another. But the only thing that's kind of stuck with me is DJing. All through that, I've always loved music. I've always loved DJing. So I think that the balance comes with just being realistic as well. You, I put a lot of effort into preparing for a gig because if someone's booked me, I want to make
Mhm.
sure that I get it right. They're parting with their money, so I could spend 4 days preparing for a gig if I wanted to, making sure I've got all of the music sorted, all the T's crossed, and the I's dotted. I've got, just in case they request this and this and this, I've got it all downloaded and ready. But at the end of the day, it's only something about 10 to 20% of the music that I prepare for a gig I actually play, because you end up just following the crowd, abandoning the playlist and thinking what is going to get them moving next. So I could spend 5 hours preparing for a gig. I could spend 24 hours in total preparing for a gig, but that's going to be at the cost of other stuff. It's going to be at the cost of my sleep. It's going to be at the cost of my children, the cost. So I think at first I tried to do something crazy, like hours and hours and hours and hours preparing, but then you realize that you just play the same, or mostly the same popular tracks anyway. So you just kind of become a bit more smart at it. So I think it's just the balance, keeping a balance with anything. We're all busy. I think keeping a balance with anything is quite difficult, but I think we've got to find a way that fits for us to keep that balance.
So, how do you collect music? When you have music collections, is it very expensive to collect all that music? How do you collect music? How is music collected?
I collect music through a DJ pool. So what happens is I pay £60 a month. Sorry, £60 every 3 months, and you get access to very high quality tracks. So on the rare occasion you're not able to get on a track, so I just find other ways, other means through other DJs, to get hold of that particular track. So there's various ways that you can get hold of music. Sometimes it's friends just sending me tracks saying, "Listen to this," and I like it. So you pick it up and you like it. Not everyone else might like it, but it's worth giving it a try at the beginning of a party when things are warming up. So you just experiment at the beginning of the party and you find out what people are moving to. And I usually build the collection around that. With the DJ software I have, I'm able to stream music into the software as well. So if someone requests a track that I don't have, I'm able to get hold of it, and then I just make sure I have the actual downloaded version for next time instead of streaming. But there's many ways I collect music. The DJing world seems to be going more towards streaming nowadays anyway, because you can have all of the music in the world at your fingertips. The difficulty with that, though, is if you're working on a stream site, you can become a little bit, oh gosh, what do I play next? I've got all of this music in the world. What am I going to play next? So yeah, I keep a balance.
Wow, this is awesome. This is really really awesome. We are learning a lot and a lot and lot of things. So how do you keep up to date? How then do you keep up to date to know there is new music that has come, it's being received very well? How then do you know? Because it's like you are up to date. Like at my party, I was so surprised. I was like, what
Mm.
happened? Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's the result of doing so many Zimbabwean parties before yours. So I already know, you know, if someone requests a track and I don't have it, and it gets people moving, I write it down. I think, okay, I need to download that track. But it's also through social media. I see people posting, you know, tracks, and so you make sure you get hold of that music. You know, you keep up with trends. I mean, how many people have posted this year on Facebook or somewhere Jerusalem? You
Yes.
know, so you're going to want to get hold of that track. Some people are getting so fed up of the song now, but you know there's going to still be people at a party that want that track. So on social media, I mean, I had it before lockdown, but if I didn't, you know, with the number of people that are posting it, I'd be downloading it. John Vulegete, you know, that was during lockdown that song came out. So I'm definitely going to be you know, I've downloaded it already. It's there ready. As soon as we get out of lockdown, of course I'm going to play that track. People are posting it so much, you know, it's a craze. So, you know, I already know the tracks that I'm going to be trying, you know, to see if people will react to them. There's some that I know they will.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there is this Tatenda Thelma Makoni who's saying my favorite DJ hands down. I think there is some work that you do with this. Is it charity work that you do with you do some charity in Sheffield, isn't it?
I don't personally do some charity, but I try and help out charity, you know, charity parties where I can. So for Tatenda, it was the last one that I did was an autism as
Yes.
Zim what was autism
Yeah.
group, and so you know, a group of parents with autistic children, and there was a party that I did. I'm trying to remember where it is now. I think it was in Northampton, but my memory fails me.
Yes, yes, yes. I
So
think you're right
yeah,
because I
yeah.
followed
So,
it. Yeah, I followed it. Yeah.
yeah, so I try and help out charities as much as I can. There's a few charities that I've done parties for in Sheffield. Um, yeah, so
And she's
yeah,
told us the name now. Autism Sheroes.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Autism Sharing. So it's a group of mothers.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I've got to shout out to Tender and the work that they're doing. Um, you know, there's a group of ladies around Northampton and Milton Keynes that have a number of charities set up. There's one for widows. There's one, you know,
Yes.
help widows in Zimbabwe, helping even in UK deal with the grief and deal. You know, there's Mavis that runs that charity, but there's a group of women that just seem to be doing fantastic things, you know, in the community. And so hands out and big shout out to Tender and Mavis and everyone and Shami that are all involved.
Lovely. What is the worst experience that you have had, or like something that happened when you were at an event and you were DJing there, and it made you to feel uncomfortable or to feel bad? What sort of things?
Oh gosh, there's a few things. I think with and there's a few parties that you do and you try absolutely everything to get people dancing. So you try this song and that song, and it feels like the people at the party just don't want to dance. And there's been a few that I've done like that, and I felt terrible. You know, I've apologized to the person that booked me afterwards, but then they've said things like, "No, that was fantastic, that was brilliant," and you know, you think to yourself, "Are you at the same party that I was just at?" But there's things like that. There's you know, where I just feel really gutted because I feel like I haven't done the job I was meant to do. But I think that then there's the realization that comes with it that sometimes people just want music to enjoy. They don't maybe want to dance. Yeah, them parties are hard. Thankfully, they're fewer nowadays. you know, they're not the majority. But there's other. I mean, there's been one or two parties where the customer has been a little bit off with me, and I don't know. You think to yourself, have I done something wrong? People were dancing and stuff like that. But again, it's the minority. The majority of people are just absolutely lovely. Yeah, you know. So yeah, there's been a few occasions where things like that have happened. I think that there was one where the party carried on anyway, and it was a fantastic party. You know, the couple that were getting married were happy, but the electric went out in the middle of the party. And the couple are really good friends with me now. The electric went out because, actually, no, it was the fire alarm went off. The fire alarm went off. The whole hotel had to be evacuated. I think it was like two or three fire engines came, and people just started singing and dancing outside. So it was like, you know, I just became the spectator at that, party rather than the person getting people dancing. And, you know, that was a lovely wedding. But at the same time, I thought to myself, gosh, they paid for this venue. They paid for me. And, you know, we're all stood outside. But, yeah, so I was a little bit uncomfortable at that one. But then I think if you've got the right group of people that are happy people, that are positive, then it doesn't matter what goes wrong in most people's eyes, the party will be a success anyway. There's a lot of positive people out there that just want to have fun, so they are the best parties.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is really good. For me, I found that when I worked with you and I approached you, you were very easy to talk to. You were very organized. I think some other businesses, when you approach them, they don't even have a plan, but you literally, an inquiry is made, you give feedback, and things are well structured out. I know if I want to take your services, it's outlined like this. So I think that is a really good way to do business. Did you have to do business, or have you done a bit of business, or do you have a business advisor, or what?
No. I think, gosh, I just try and think when I'm doing a party. I'm just trying to think what needs to happen. What would I want to happen if I was organizing a party? That's the thing that I think about. Is if this was my party, I want to organize. You know, I want it to be organized. I want people to turn up on time. I want people to, you know, have the correct music. I want people to ask me what music I want, you know, what special tracks I want. So, you know, that's very important. It's important that you're presentable. And people could study business as much as they want. If they're not practicing what they study, it's pointless. You know, I did no course in business or anything like that. Yeah, so I just try and do what I can that's best for the customer. You know, and it's the same working with the MC. Whatever MC has been assigned for that particular party, just building that rapport, that respect. You know, you can't do any business coming into it kind of grumpy. And I see some people they just want to be there and just play the music. They don't want to deal with this and this. It doesn't work, because you know it's other people's parties. So you've got to. It's a customer focus. That's so important.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that I would recommend you, because for me, I had the book launch, but I also had a major operation that was gonna happen in 4 days after the event. So I was on treatment. I was under a lot of stress, and at one point I was thinking, should I be canceling this event? But when I booked you, you just turned up on time. You set up, everything was just ready, very, very smart, you know, and I was like, okay. And, you know, you were there, we felt your presence, but you were not there. I have never seen anything like that. It has never happened to me before, that someone is there, but they are not there. And it was the most stress-free encounter that I had when I trusted you with the DJ. that event. So I think this is the feedback that I can give you, and it's a recommendation. I think I did a recommendation on your website. So yeah, I don't know what you have to say. Timekeeping, you are right on time. Your
Yeah.
things were all on time. You know, like there was no interruptions from you to say, I need this, I need that. Once I spoke to you, you just went and you spoke to the hotel owners and you just got on with your work.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I think that's the thing that you said about being there but not being there. I think I think that's all the style of DJing and knowing the customer as well. Because there's a lot of DJs that are out there. They can be seen at a party, and they're doing a lot of talking and what have you. But I think the thing to realize with that kind of party, it's not you are not the center of attention. I think a few DJs fall down on that one. People haven't come to see the DJ; they've come to enjoy music, and they've come to because it's your book launch, it's your event. So anything that I do, I try and make the center of attention that person, whoever's birthday it is, whoever's book launch it is, whoever's wedding it is. They are the center of attention, not the DJ. I've been to parties before where the DJs are talking, bigging themselves up. It frustrates me because if it was my party, I don't want to hear it. But I recognize that there are different styles of DJing. There's some people that do that. Maybe it's more suitable for I don't know, for a club, or maybe some people like that. But for me, I want the center of attention to be the person whose party it is. So that's what I strive for.
Yeah, so there's a comment here says that means he is very good and did not overshadow the event, but complemented what was happening. I could not agree more with this comment. There is a question here. I don't know whether it is appropriate for this broadcast or whether it is something they can come to your website, but they're asking, what are your charges?
What am I charging? It all depends on distance from me and number of hours the party is as well, which obviously varies depending on the event, depending on the party. So I start from around the £200 mark, and it goes up depending on distance. So there's a lot of things that feed into the price that I charge. But I try and keep the prices reasonable. Obviously, if it's a charity, I try to bring the price down as much as I can because charities are important. It's so it varies.
Yeah. I think the charges are pretty fair. They are very reasonable. My husband is just echoing this from the back to say the charges are reasonable. Yeah. We have 10 minutes to go before we finish this interview. I really enjoy talking to you. I call you my brother from another mother. So if there's anything you just like to share with us, we'll just allow you to just talk to us.
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot now. That's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. I think if there's anything that I can say is whether you're doing DJing, whatever you're doing, make sure that you enjoy it. Times are hard at the moment, so it doesn't matter what you get involved in. I think we all need a bit more positivity in our lives. So if you can find a hobby, that you enjoy, I would say try and find a way to monetize that hobby as well. So you've got that additional income. I think life is too short to be unhappy. And I think I like the question earlier about how you balance things. I think it's important, especially in these difficult times, that we all have a reflection on what is important to us, what our priority is, and we put that right. Whether you're working full time in a job, whether you're, if you're DJing, whatever it is, you've got to give it its correct balance. You've got to prioritize family, children especially. they come first, and then the other stuff comes after. Doesn't matter what our passion is. You know, I've seen some DJs, and I think I've been guilty of this in the past, that just put everything, all of their time into that thing. And it's very easy to do that when you've got a hobby that you love. It's very easy for me to do that because I love music. I love mixing. If I'm having a stressful day, it helps to de-stress me. But you can't do what you want all of the time. You've got to balance. You've got to give time to other things. So I think the message that I have is stay positive, but also prioritize. Some of the happiest times I've had in my life are not DJing, funny enough, but they're times with my children. Taking my son up climbing mountains are highlights in my life. You know, if I look back, you know, spending time with friends and family, you know, have been my highlights. So I think you've got to think, whatever you're doing, get your priorities right. Yeah. I don't know what
amazing. This is amazing. Chipotle is saying, lovely interview, so inspirational and sound practical advice. I think you have told us a lot of things. I have to commend you that you visited Africa, you fell in love with the music in Africa, and you love music anyway, and you came back and you did something about it. I think that is amazing, and I think it's amazing that you know Winky D. Oh my God, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, Winky. I love Winky D. I don't know. There's something about his eyes when he's on stage. It's almost like he's staring at you, and he's asking you to enjoy it when he's on stage. In his eyes, you can see it in his eyes. He's like wanting you to enjoy it. He's looking at your reaction. You know, yeah. I think if every musician could be like that, and I think maybe if I could be a bit more like that as a DJ, you know, when I'm playing music, I just think everyone could be maybe a little bit more like that. I think it's a good quality for a performer.
Yes, thank you so much. Just a minute.
You've given us so much.
Huh? My husband is always supervising me. So this is a very valid question that he's asking. He said to me, you have given so much to us. What can we give back to you to add value to what you do? Huh? Yeah, that's the question that is given.
I think one thing that I could say to add value is just to keep contact with me after you've booked me. I think I love connecting with people. You know, there's so many gigs that I've done where I've grown friendships from, you know, first of all, I'm providing a service there, the customer, but then I've got a connection with that person. I've grown a friendship. And, you know, I think music has enabled me to connect with a heck of a lot of people. And I love that. I really love it. So just keep contacting me, you know, build that friendship with me. I really enjoy it.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. I have kept in touch with you. You've kept in touch with me. Sometimes you've just encouraged me. You've just sent me something very small to say something about what I'm doing, but you have encouraged me. And I want to say thank you so much. I treasure you. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for taking time to just come and talk to us. I know it will benefit some people, some parents, because to be honest with you, there are some areas in our lives that we just take for granted. But then you pick up your child is telling you, I'm going to do this thing. Then you're thinking, what is that? But when we have information like this, with people like you, it helps us to make the right decisions and not put pressure on our children. So thank you so much, DJ Muzungu.
You're welcome. I think one other thing I can say that I kind of missed out for someone that's young that wants to be a DJ is find a DJ to shadow as well. Find a DJ to teach you some of the skills. I think most DJs, if you will ask them, you know, would be happy. There might be a few that aren't, but I mean, I'd be happy if someone came to me and said they want to learn how to do it. I would be happy to show somebody how to do it, to help them get started with it. You know, because I think the more people that are doing it and loving it, the you know, the better. I think maybe some people would see it as a competition threat if they teach someone else how to do it. For me, I think, you know, there's enough business out there. People enjoy parties. There's enough business out there. We are a threat to ourselves if we don't improve and learn how to do it better. But if you're doing it well, you know, there's never a threat. So pick a DJ to shadow, ask someone to shadow and teach you some things, and that will, you know, that'll help you.
Lovely. I think you've just said something key, because on this forum, mentorship is key. We are just always hammering about mentorship. So here, Chief is saying mentorship. Yay! I agree with you 100%. I've really enjoyed catching up with you, DJ Muzungu. I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for taking time to come and talk to us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please, you can say goodbye to everyone and say whatever you want to say, and please.
You're welcome. Welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Auntie Mimi.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Goodbye. Good night.